Well, can you believe it? We're back in the studio, and we're doing a live show tonight, not one of those properly done studio shows. Well, we don't really have a properly done studio show, but we're live. There's always the tension. You never know what can happen in a live program. Something can happen it cannot be edited. It's real time, and I've been thinking about so many things that are going on right now. Just an amazing rapid fire of stuff going on. Of course, the most interesting part of this is the theme of government, weird government in your face, don't care what you think, gonna stomp you out, government behavior. Used to be in America that you'd have a president, one of the first things they would do when they get elected is try to reconcile, try to conciliate. This is the first time in history where a party comes into power and tries to criminalize everybody that doesn't support them. So what I want you guys to do is get ready for a wild roller coaster ride tonight. We're going to have Mario Murillo joining us in a moment, coming in live from his location. And we're going to be talking about what's happening in the area of this weird tyranny. This whole thing that's going on with Trump and the 4 indictments, the 19 attorneys that they're trying to lock up. I don't think the average person in America gets the fact that the Democrats are now locking up your defense lawyers, which means you don't have anyone to defend you when they come after you. They're intimidating, they're disbarring them, they're threatening to take them out. And it's happening in such an ubiquitous, all over the place fashion that the average person is up, shrug of the shoulders, what else is on the news? I don't think we appreciate what this means. Now, I was checking out some blogs today and ran into Mario Murillo's August 26th rating. Is Mass Civil Disobedience Coming? He writes, he's an interesting evangelist. He's more prophetic than most prophets and more accurate, I might add. And he's saying, is mass disobedience coming? Because the ruling class is preparing to reinstate oppressive rules. Tens of millions of us are going to be subject to the health tactics that they used before. Yeah, so we're hearing about it. We're beginning to see.
This portion is too hot to handle for social media. Go to lancewallnau.com/podcast to listen to the entire show.
Mario, good to see you, my friend.
Hello. Hey, Lance, how you doing, man? I want to tell you that civil disobedience is what filled that tent behind me. I was told by the governor of California not to do tent crusades. And so we went to Fresno on the word of the Lord. And he said, the law is being broken by the governor, and the higher law of the Constitution is the law you are to obey, mostly the law of God. But I want you to understand that, now we're in Los Angeles. I just want to mention at the top of our time, because you're right, we are on a roller coaster ride. This is going to get really exciting. We are doing a tent crusade in the Los Angeles Fairgrounds, which you can't get in. We got in. We got all kind of regulations. We defeated them all. Our 5,000 seat tent is going up on Sunday, September 10th through the 13th it's also called the Fairplex in Pomona. And we got 100 churches unified for it. And we're excited. We got 600 workers that are flying in from across the country. We believe that by start time, we're going to reach 1,000 volunteers. That's our number. But it'll be full like this behind me, and miracles are going to happen. It's going to be an amazing event.
September 10th through the 13th. And by the way, they've got proofforla.com. If you're listening to this on a podcast, go to proofforla.com. And you don't want to miss it, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. I can tell you this, that when you're in an environment where you're seeing and sensing the move of God and the miracles and healings happening, it's electric. It's life-changing. And it's going to change the lives of people that are going to be there. And if you're in the LA area, man, you got no excuse it's right in your own backyard. You don't want to go get the DVD. You want to be there and get the experience. So has the Lord already told you what you're going to preach on, or how does that work?
The one thing about woke that is such a soul-winning theme is that it is not accountable for what it does to a life. In other words, we get to see what they believe. We get to see the rules they enact. What we don't see is the ultimate outcome of woke on the individual life. And what that does is it creates an emptiness, a loneliness, a despair, and that God uses to prepare the soil for people to turn to God. That's why I believe that we have two extremes in America. We have a ruling class that doesn't understand that there are millions of Americans. Every once in a while, there's a flash of their fury. It'll be against a Bud Light can, or it'll be against child endangerment and the sex trade, or it'll be a country song that will come out talking about the rich men in north of Richmond. And that flash, that moment, that breaking of the thing is what Jesus said. You know, when you look at the sky, how to predict the weather, but you don't understand the signs of the time. So America, in its current condition, is made up of two polarities, a ruling class and masses of people that want God on a level I didn't even see during the Jesus movement. The greatest frustration of our ministry is a shortage of workers that can handle the harvest. So not only are people getting converted, they're young. Not only are young people getting converted, but their conversions are fierce. And the signs and wonders that God is doing, half of them are among the youth. 50% of every healing that we see in a tent now is a young person, healed of some dramatic physical illness as a demonstration of the power of God. But the folks watching need to understand, yeah, the times are evil. Yeah, they're going to want to lock us down again. But there is an undercurrent of a hunger for God that I have never seen in my life.
Well, you also made a comment I thought was interesting, and that is that you've had your finger on the pulse of the church. When you have 100 churches working with you, you know more about where the churches are at than most people. And you're saying that where there was a reluctance to speak up and a caution about what to say, you're seeing more of an abandonment now. What do you attribute that to? Is that because the pastors are feeling more the temperature of the people wanting them to speak up? Or is it because the pastors themselves are changing? What's your take on that?
The first thing they've understood is who their real competition is and who their threat is. They've come to that. Persecution does that. These pastors have awakened to the fact that where we agree is so much more important now than where we disagree. We have a common enemy. We have a common hope. And it's like Benjamin Franklin said, we either hang together or we'll hang separately. And men and women of God in the pulpit in California, and by the way, I'm going to say something outrageous. People don't realize how close California is to flipping into becoming a red state. And that's because of the destruction of every meaningful aspect of that state by leftist policy. Now the eyes are opening and they're saying, here's what you did to my child. Here's how you destroyed my business. Here's how you turned San Francisco into a ghost town. Here's how you turned downtown LA into a third world hovel of people that are homeless. Crime off the hook, pain everywhere, destruction imminent. And the church is suddenly the answer. This is why I want to tell you the most vulnerable person on earth right now is the pastor that is giving a TED talk mixed with a flavoring of New Age, a little stand-up, because they're not reading the people. The people want a word from God. They want the Bible. They want doctrine. They're not even as enamored in worship as they were at one time. They want to feel the presence of God. We have found ourselves not against worship, but we are against the kind of trance state that a lot of people feel they need to do behind Christian music. The outside world is coming into our meetings and saying, I need power over what's destroying me. I need an answer. I need good and evil to be delineated. I need bottom lines. I need understanding of where I'm hurting. And that is electrifying pastors to preach a fiery word, and it's growing their churches. And I'm telling you, I can report churches that have doubled and multiplied and quadrupled because, number one, they stayed open during the...
This portion is too hot to handle for social media. Go to lancewallnau.com/podcast to listen to the entire show.
But September 10th through 13th, you've got 100 churches working together. Once again, what are people going to do?
They're going to see miracles. You need to bring someone that needs healing. Under this tent right here, you're going to see the glory of God. It's the Fairplex in Pomona, also known as the Los Angeles County Fairground. Sunday, September the 10th, 7 o'clock every night, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 10th through the 13th. Bring someone. You will not regret it.
You know, I saw your blog post on that. You pointed out Azusa. You pointed out Billy Graham's Los Angeles Crusade. You pointed out the Jesus Movement. You had Catherine Coleman. You had Youth with a Mission. You had so many movements have come out of California that we cannot write off California. As California goes, so goes the nation. Right now, California is going to hell in a handbasket, and it's so bad, it's ironic. It's almost hilarious that Gavin Newsom is the guy they want to trot out as the poster child for, hey, he could bring this to your state. And I got a feeling something ain't going to work here. Can they support you financially? Because you are out on a limb again. At proofforla.com, can they make a donation to this?
If they're going to do that, it's best to go to MarioMurillo.org, just MarioMurillo.org. And thank you for that, Lance.
Friends.
MarioMurillo.org. And why would they pick Gavin Newsom? I know that we're supposed to end this show, but I got to get this in. Even though Gavin Newsom has presided over the most disastrous budget, the most inept government, the most completely insane policies California's ever known, why would he qualify as the Democratic candidate? Because he has the one skill that is most needed, the ability of sleight of hand to keep a populace from connecting their tragedy to his policies. That's what they need in the White House. Someone who can continue the lie. Continue, don't mind the man behind the curtain. That's his skill. That's how he works. That's why they want him.
Wow. And you know what that's called? It's called an angel of light, my friend. There's a seducing power to be able to mesmerize people into not connecting the dots. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to come back again tomorrow. You don't want to miss part 2 with Mario Murillo. Civil disobedience. Conflict is coming. The battle is intensifying. And it's coming down to a battle of righteousness and iniquity. And God, I believe, has set this fight as a fight we can win. We'll be back again tomorrow. Make sure you go to MarioMurillo.org and stand with Mario. God bless. Hey, let's take a moment right here and talk about something. You know, these programs are actually paid for by sponsors. And so the one thing that I always do is try to pick the sponsors that have the greatest value. Those are the ones that I myself believe in. Now, the Birch Gold Group is one of those key sponsors, and I'll tell you why. The economy is the area that I'm the most concerned about in terms of instability in the future. Do you know that right now, China and Russia and India is meeting with Saudi Arabians and South Africans to create an alternative economy, to basically crush the dollar? This is going to have a massive effect on the stock market, on real estate. It'll be a real shaking. But you don't have to be shaken, because there's a way you can protect your retirement, your 401ks, your IRAs, by connecting them in with gold. Gold is unique in history in that it's a place of stored value. In fact, those BRICS nations of Brazil and Russia, India and China, they're going to be backing themselves with, guess what? Gold. So be smart. I want you to go to lancewallnau.com/Birch and get a free information kit. Get knowledge, act quickly, don't wait. And they're going to be able to help you make a great decision on what to do. Remember, that information is free with no strings attached. Do it now, lancewallnau.com/Birch.
Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your friends, because the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to navigate the world.